Yeti, there we go. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Whew.
I'm cold. It's cold in my room.
We're approaching cold season.
I love it. Cold season.
Yeah, likewise. I love it.
I do too, because we get to do this.
Just means I got to wear a blanket.
That's it.
We don't do this when it's hot out.
Well,
if we do, it's a very good thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I hope we get to do it when it's hot out.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah.
We were really pumping them out last year. You're welcome.
We were consistent. At least we tried to be. But yeah, back to back night 2. We can start, I guess, with the game against Miami, and then get into the preview a little bit. It was less consistently good than the Philly game, I'll say. There was you kind of caught a whiff of last year's inconsistencies early on in that third quarter. Got sloppy, weren't composed. Hello, Jack, and welcome in. But as the third quarter ended and into the fourth, they kind of cleaned things up and got back to the basketball that they had been playing, which I liked. It was a tough win. They made it harder on themselves than it probably had to be. But it wasn't as bad as some of the things they did last year. So I was happy with it. And I mean, we can again obviously start with the Celtics, but we can talk about this after. Miami looks not like Miami. They don't look right. But yeah.
How many points Jimmy Butler finished with? I was thinking about that halfway through the game.
Something. Yeah, he had more than you thought.
How many?
Yeah, I don't know the exact number. I'm looking right now. He had more than you thought, though, because I remember being really? He scored that much? He had 18, 7, and 5 was his stat.
Really? It felt like he didn't play.
Exactly.
Quiet 18.
Yeah, very quiet. Hero, not so quiet.
Actually, he didn't get any free throws. I think that's probably what hurt the Bulls a little bit, was he got nothing on the line. Kyle Lowry, however, 7 for 7. Or actually 6 for 8 was what he finished with. He was such annoying. A pest. That was expected, though, right?
No, I mean, I think every time you watch it, you think that. I think that's just him at this point. He's annoying.
That's just who he is.
I think he's just one of the guys. I tweeted it out. I said him and Marcus were having a who can annoy the opponent competition. It's just, I feel like they just that's just who they are. He's like Pat Bev, Marcus, Pat Bev at this point. They're kind of similar.
I did want to touch on you talked about, you saw some shades of last year's team yesterday with how they slowed down in the third quarter, obviously with Lowry, connecting it there, being involved, getting in their heads, turning them over, scoring on the offensive end. However, when they lost the lead, they had an excellent response. They did. They lost the lead in the third quarter and finished the quarter with a 12-point lead, which built on what they had at halftime. So despite playing horrible for probably the first half of the quarter and being in the bonus, or Miami being in the bonus for most of it, they extended the lead. They won the quarter. That's so impressive. You didn't really see that as much in the playoffs, I don't feel like. When they would collapse, they would really do it. They were all committed to it. Not yesterday. They turned it around and won the game, which was absolutely excellent.
And I think that's what I agree with too, Sam. I think as much as we want to say there was some collapse there in the third, it was not a complete collapse. They managed to rebound, they managed to get reacclimated, and they came together really strong in that third in order to extend that lead. And I think that's what makes it different. I mean, Jacket says it here. Last year, and Tatum said as much in his postgame. Probably this is a game last year. This time last year, we probably would have lost this game because the composure, the losing that focus, that poise. And this is what this Miami Heat team does. And that's the one thing that I will say, compared to the 76ers, the Heat are always going to give you more of a problem just because I think they're far more committed to their style of play. Mm-hmm. And even then, the Miami Heat didn't look like the Miami Heat that you expect. And I don't know how much of that is, discipline, communication, being connected. You can chalk it up to anything, but this is a Spoelstra team, and Eric Spoelstra is a hell of a coach. So anytime that you have to face a squad of his, you're going to be in for it. And I just think that overall the Celtics do have issues with the Heat, and this was a very good example of how far they've come because the growth there. This is definitely a game that they would have lost last year, I think, early on.
Yeah, they let it go and they brought it back, and that was the thing. Like Tim said, Jason Tatum talked about it after the game. He said, we enjoy what we're doing, making progress from last year. that sort of thing. Birkin saying I expect a lot of Blake tonight, and that's because I can put it in the chat. Celtics starting 5. No Al Horford tonight. He is out with quote unquote lower back pain, something like that. It's just rest. They're just
Old
resting
man
him
River.
on the second night of a back-to-back, which means Noah Vonleh will be getting the start. Noah Vonleh, who looked absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion, against the Heat. He looked great. He looked good against the Sixers. I thought he looked really good against Philly, but he was playing Embiid, and then when he went up against a big man that wasn't an MVP candidate, he looked even better. So I can only imagine how well he could end up playing against the Magic's big tonight. It's one of their stronger positions. I'm not going to sit here and crap on Orlando's big man rotation. That's probably some of their better players. Like Wendell Carter's a good player. Paolo Banchero, obviously first overall pick, he'll be good. But Vonleh will have a chance to have even more of an impact tonight. Birkin saying Cornette. I think he'll probably get some looks tonight, some run. I think if Vonleh keeps playing this well, he's on the could get waived at the deadline bubble. But that's just me. I don't know about you guys, but Vonleh's look good.
Yeah, he's given you anything you could have expected and more, especially going back to last night's game. He was excellent. I mean, he made an immediate impact when he came in the first quarter. Horford picked up a couple quick ones, if I'm not mistaken, like he did in Philly or against Philly. And he was making an impact, rebounding. He had a couple nice dunks, got himself to the basket, played decent defense. Like he's not looking like a guy who played in China last season. He's just really not. He looks like he belongs. It looks like Brad wins again. You've got a guy that's probably your 11th guy off the bench who fills a backup big role better than Tice did last year so far, I'd say. The only thing that I would like to see more of, or an ability to do, is to shoot a bit. If it's not his strength, it's not his strength. We saw him drill one in the preseason in his debut. But as far as tonight goes, it's another great opportunity. Every day is getting easier for him. Started off against Embiid, MVP candidate, then Bam, All-Star, and then Wendell Carter, who's just kind of an average guy. He's a solid player, but he's not either of the other two guys he's had to try and defend and play against the last couple games. Definitely looking forward to seeing more from Vonleh.
I love the hustle. And I know this is the one play that we have on our minds right now, but that play where he fought for that board on the offensive end and like got it all the way in the corner, and then just the confidence to make that spin move with that dunk finish. Oh man, like he was moving on that. That was so unexpected. Like I lost my mind when that happened. And if he gets more confidence, like all power to him. Like that's fantastic. And they might have just found something here. Like they may have found a rotational big that they can lean on. You know, he put on a lot of muscle mass. Obviously, everyone's probably seen that picture by now. But I mean, he's built, he's strong. He's still on the younger side. He's still, under 30s, 27 years old. So they might have like a legitimate rotational big here. And I really like his passing ability, but mainly that hustle. Like that's something that this Celtics team needs, especially if they're going to be undersized and they're going to be without Rob. They need guys who are going to be able to go out there and fight for every single rebound. And to his credit, that's exactly what Vonleh's done. So it's exciting to see what he's going to be able to do in a starting role right now, at least with, Al resting. I don't know how much they're going to cycle other guys in, though. So we'll see what happens there. But strong start so far for him.
Yeah, I agree. And Birkin saying he was the 9th overall pick. He's got some skills. He was a high draft pick. He was a high draft pick for a reason. Said he recommitted himself after playing in China last year. And before the season started, after he made the roster, but before they played their first game, he mentioned, I know I made the roster now, but I've got my eyes on that January 8th or something deadline, January 7th, because he can get waived before that at any point without the Celtics taking a cap hit. And so he wants a guaranteed spot for the whole year. And so far he's done everything he's needed to do to secure that. He's hustling for rebounds, which was a big issue for the Celtics last year. He showed off a nice little spin move. Obviously, like we said, you can finish inside. He's a good screener. He does everything. Like Birkin said, he's a wall. So that's good for the Celtics. Birkin also noted a little bit earlier, I think it was, I expect a lot of Blake tonight. I think Blake will get a little bit of run at least against the Magic just because Horford's not there. Him and Cornette should probably get some run. Maybe even Kevin Gale could get in the game potentially. It should be interesting to see how they play the big man rotation. Maybe even see Tatum at the 5 a little bit. But the issue with that is the Magic play really big. Really big. Jack and making a joke about China in the chat. Magic play really big though. They've got a lot of tall guys. Obviously, Wendell Carter, Paolo Banchero, and then off the bench they've been running Mo Bamba and Bol Bol. So it's not like they're a short team. You can talk about their skill, but they're tall at the very least. So that could be potentially something to look at because you probably can't run Grant out there to guard Mo Bamba for extended minutes, purely for the height difference. So we shall see in that regard. But yeah, anything else from the Heat game you guys can think of? I mean, I thought obviously JT and JB looked really good. Driving to the hoop, which I talked about after the Sixers game, they've been great at picking their spots. I think I'm going to write about it this weekend.
Jalen has done a great job so far this season getting himself to the basket. He's always been a good finisher, something we've seen from him more consistently than Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, he's just getting to the spot with no problem. He's not dribbling the ball off his foot. He's not dribbling into 3 guys. He's doing everything, and it looks easy. That's why he's scoring at such a high clip, because he's just running at guys. And it helps that there's no take foul this year, too, because in transition, he's been great. All of these things are looking like it's going to be a promising season for the Celtics because Brown is just looking like he's taking another step up, does it every year, goes out in the summer, works hard, comes back, and it is better. And this year, it looks like he's improved his, I guess, shot creation, getting to the basket ability, because we didn't see this last year. He wasn't doing everything so easily.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I also think Tatum's finishings looked fantastic. He did a really great job of getting to the line, 7 for 7 from the line last night. And I also do want to say that Derek White especially looks more comfortable. He did little things here and there that really helped this team. 2 for 4 from 3. You know, you take those when you get them, especially because with him playing off ball there, they've got so many different ball handlers out there. So he needs to be able to hit his open looks. And so far, so good from there. And again, Grant Williams had another great night. 4 or 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 7 boards too. I know Jack's smiling about that. In a game high plus 15. So I really like what we're seeing out of Grant too. He looks confident. He looks poised to earn that big payday that we keep going back to. I'm really stoked about that as well, because I think it would be really, really easy for him to kind of check out. I think if, granted, you're playing for a contract, but you know that could phase you a little bit. I think if you're not having that guaranteed money, we saw that happen with DeAndre Ayton, but 2 very, very different players we're talking about.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Landon asking, do you remember the nature of Smart's 5 turnovers? Not particularly, but we can watch them right now.
There's a couple. There was one.
Oh, let's have a watch party. Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly what we all want to watch is Marcus turn the ball over. This is like some hater behavior here.
All right, shall we see his turnovers? I don't know if you'll be able to hear the sound, but regardless. Here you go. Times the okay, one was he stepped out of bounds, so
not great.
A little bit of slack there.
They got a couple of those. They called those a couple times, which I found very ironic.
That was another one he got credited with. Could Tatum have caught this? It's a tough pass.
It was an ill-advised pass.
Yeah, sure. Not ideal, but it wasn't anything worrisome in my opinion. It was a good idea. That was bad.
Yeah,
this one wasn't great.
That was during that Heat run.
Yeah.
I believe he also had an offensive foul later in this stretch too, which
I don't know what happened there.
I think there's another one I can think of.
I'm not gonna fault Marcus Smart for this one as much.
And NBA stat keepers with hater behavior last night.
Jalen dropped this.
I agree.
Lowry was all over his business as soon as it touched his hands.
And then last one for Marcus.
This was
I didn't like
pass,
this one.
Actually.
This one was that was just no. That was Lowry sitting there waiting to pick that lane again. The pest.
Tough. Yep. Tough. Not terrible. That the one bad one was when he dumped it into Al Horford and it just kind of went nowhere.
Yeah.
But other than that, played it right. What I was gonna say before Landon dropped that question in the comments, it's been 2 games, so you obviously take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to stats, but Tatum and Brown both putting up 30 a night like that. Like they're not going to be able to continue that pace, I don't think. I don't think being the key word. But the Celtics' third leading scorer right now is Mr. Grant Williams, very quietly, might I add. Like, obviously, there's a difference, but I know Tim mentioned Grant Williams playing like he's getting that payday, but it's like seriously playing like he's going to get that payday. But the biggest part about it is it's a lot quieter than last year, because last year all you were hearing about was, oh, Grant's nailing all these threes. Now he's expected to do that.
Yeah.
No one else is paying attention to the rest of the things he's doing. Like,
people aren't expecting him to suck.
Exactly. He's creating off the dribble, though. He's getting into the paint. He's had a couple really nice layups, reverse layups off the drive. He's able to. I think the next step for him is probably finding people off of those cuts instead of just looking to attack. But Grant has looked really, really, really good. He's shooting 82% from the field and 72% from three. So you can't really complain so much. Yeah, he's due for a bad one. But
the drives have been stemming back to the preseason. I remember in that first game against Charlotte, we saw him take advantage of guys closing out on him hard. Now that everyone knows he can shoot, they're coming and flying out, trying to knock him off his line at the 3-point line. He's just driving and getting himself to the basket. He's strong enough to finish inside, and he's done an excellent job so far. Obviously, the field goal percentages, convey that. I'm happy to see it. It's making things easier on his teammates, too. He's not just a guy sitting in the corner anymore. He's going to make the defense think. It'll open things up for Tatum and Brown if they cut off his drives, move without the ball. All these guys are going to benefit from Grant improving. And you kind of need that right now because he's seeing more minutes with Rob out, whether he's playing the center spot or not. So I'm eager to see how he continues. Tonight against Orlando should be a big night for him, at least usage-wise. Hopefully he takes advantage of it.
Yeah, and I think he's also getting some easier looks now, in a way, just because they've got so many different ball handlers. So they're really, really trying to keep the ball movement popping. I don't believe he was involved in the possession, but there was one play where I think Smart had it in the corner, Jalen brought the ball up, kicked it over to Smart in the corner. He pump faked, got a guy to miss, reset, then did a no-look pass over to Derek White. Derek White kicked it over to Jalen, and Jalen hit the open three from the top of the key. I think that was later in the game too. So it was a big shot, but seeing the ball movement and the way that the ball is popping so far is just such an encouraging sight to see. It's not something that they lost from Udoka's regime. Like, it's not something that was forgotten, and having all of these guys who are capable of handling the ball now just makes it so much easier. I think you guys might have touched upon it on your show, but talking specifically about adding Malcolm Brogdon, and how much he's kind of taken some of that workload off of Marcus Smart in terms of like the rotations. I still keep coming back to it. I think Brogdon is such a good addition, and having another body out there that's capable of defending and handling the ball and specifically creating for others is great. I just love that so much. I can't get enough of that.
Another thing,
Brogdon's been great.
You mentioned the transition from Ime Udoka to Joe Mazzulla. How about my man just hoarding the timeouts like he's Danny with draft picks? I mean, Miami's just climbing back into the game and take the lead, and he's just sitting there. It worked, and Tatum praised him for it. He said it was good that they had to figure things out on the fly earlier in the season. He said it's a good learning experience, but watching the game, you're like, geez, man, take a timeout. It's like Brad's coaching again.
I agree. It was a bit tough to watch at times. He had a quote on it. I forget exactly what he said, but I think he said something along the lines of what you said. He's like, it's early in the season. I figured I'd let them, figure it out from there. The one time, I think it was most questionable was when he didn't call a timeout to get Jalen back in, but it ended up working out for the best. So
yeah, they didn't need to put him back in at that point. They'd already won the game. You don't want him getting hurt. Maybe you wanted the stat pad get to 30, maybe, right? Keep the streak alive.
I suppose. Swag Boy is asking, where can I watch the game? League Pass, NBC Sports website, log in with your TV provider. I think those are the top ways.
I don't think that's what he's looking for.
I think he's looking at a way to watch it for free. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I know. I know
I have it on Hulu Live.
Streams.
That's how I'm watching.
Exactly.
There's a bit of a lag. It kind of sucks, but other than that, it's great.
I remember when not everyone was on streaming. Like, a lot more people stream the games now on Hulu, YouTube TV, you name it. But when it was first YouTube TV, it used to be the worst. You couldn't even go on Twitter during games. You just have it straight up get spoiled for you. It was the absolute worst. Twitter's the best part of the game sometimes. You got to be on there.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter constantly, and the lag hasn't been bad. And shout out ESPN for getting the audio correct, better than
Audio
TNT.
is correct.
There's just the tiniest bit on. I think it's not even like the audio and delay in the announcing, but in like I could notice it on the net sounds. Like I would
Really?
sometimes
I
hear
didn't
it like
see
the tiniest bit. I would hear the net before the shot actually officially like went through.
Well, now you're gonna ruin those broadcasts for me.
I don't know.
Thank
Maybe
you.
you
Sam's
won't
gonna
notice
notice
it,
it.
but I did. It was like very, very subtle. It was worlds better than TNT because like TNT's like audio was so bad. Like you hear the whistle and the play's
That's a
still
crime.
happening.
I think everybody that watched that game should be compensated, seeing how we were robbed of watching a nice, wholesome local broadcast like we will get to tonight.
File that class action lawsuit. I'll sign that.
They should. I mean,
Only-
seriously, if you're gonna have the exclusive rights to an opening night game, you shouldn't be allowed to screw it up.
It was bad enough to
Only-
have Stan on there.
Only issue for Sam though is I don't know if Gorman took the trip. Do you think? I doubt he went.
I don't know if he
wonder
took the
if he
trip,
did.
but I'd still
No.
I like
rather
Grandy,
have
though.
NBC Sports.
I like
than
Grandy.
I love
yeah.
Grandy.
any of the
Grandy's
national
cool.
broadcasts, unless you have
Fultz is
Green.
Fultz is not playing Birkin, unfortunately. He is
Fultz
injured.
is out. Suggs is also out.
John Isaac is still out, and then
Isaac
There's
hasn't played
another.
since the bubble.
We got to talk
He
about
hasn't.
John Isaac, man. What the hell happened with John?
I don't even know what there is to talk about at this point. He just turned into something. He turned into Ennis Freedom. That's what he is. Anyways,
I am out of the loop on all that.
TNT was running a full.
I agree
TNT
with
was
Evan.
bad. Screw it. I love the NBC. Yep, I agree as well. There was something else I was going to bring up. Oh, it's random, but I saw a tweet about it. And I tweeted about it last night. Boston Celtics head coaches from last season are 4-0 this season. How about that? How about the Utah Jazz 2-0, beating
They're supposed to be
two?
tanking.
They beat. It's not even like they beat up on like the Rockets and the Thunder. They beat two playoff teams.
They beat the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I know. They beat the Timberwolves, and then they beat the they killed the Nuggets on opening night. They look really good. They've got too much talent for tanking, and they're supposed to be tanking, but maybe this is less of a tank and more of a Pacers tank, which is probably not exactly what Danny H had in mind. But if you got the talent, like it's not even like the talent is all like grizzled vets putting together wins. Like Colin Sexton's young, Lauri Markkanen's looked really good. Jared Vanderbilt is averaging 12 rebounds through 2 games. Like they've got some nice young pieces there playing well. And I have to imagine that guys like Kelly Olynyk, Mike Conley are creating a market for themselves. Jordan Clarkson too, Malik Beasley, like their value is going to be pretty good. So they'll be able to deal them soon. And yeah, Ben Simmons, Jack, and he's not looking too hot thus far. Sam, you got a question in the chat?
Favorite Warwick restaurant? That's probably BJ's, man. BJ's is fantastic. BJ's Brewhouse. It's kind of a chain. Also, Dave's Bar and Grill is good. My favorite restaurant around here is Brass Monkey, though. It's in Providence. That is the best. They would be the spot after work. Me and the boys would squat up. We'd go there. They know our orders. Excellent experience. If you're around there, go to Brass Monkey. It's great. Free plug for them.
I think my dad used to have coasters from Dave's because his name is Dave, and I think he got coasters from there because I remember that when I was growing up. Yeah, I don't know why, but I just remember like that sticks very vividly in my brain. There's a restaurant called BJ's because I got really confused for a second. I was like, yeah, I'll buy a bolt from there.
It's called
but like...
BJ's Brewhouse. There's one in Attleboro too. I think they
Sorry, it is very early in the game, but the Sixers are currently losing to the Spurs, which is very funny.
What's it, 2-0?
Like,
no, it is 39-36.
Is Embiid? I assume Embiid's playing, right?
He's got himself. I'll take a look though. He's been dealing with plantar fasciitis. Yeah,
which is like the bane of all big men's existence.
Yeah, the feet issues
terrible.
are no good.
Yeah, and he had those when he was getting into the league. He had the whole issue with his broken foot.
Yep.
I'm gonna put it in the chat now. We've got picks of the night presented by our friends at Smash the Odds at Smash Odds on Twitter. We have Evan Mobley over 15.5 points. My pick, Tatum double. It's plus money. Horford's out. Jump on that. The only way I see that not happening is if they blow him out and he's just on the bench. Bonus, Grant over 1.5 threes. It's a classic pick, but he's going to see extra minutes tonight with Horford out. Take the picks. Follow at Smash the Odds. You got the NFL Sunday tomorrow. You can buy a one-day slate of picks, I think for $25, $50, and bet, make your money back.
There you go. There you go. My Birkin's betting on Jalen 40+ points. Maybe not a great bet, but it could happen. I can see it today. He's been
I
on fire.
appreciate the optimism.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been great. JB has looked awesome. I don't think there's enough good things that we can say about how Jalen's looked so far.
It's great.
Man on
Do
fire.
Sam? Do you know this,
Purple
Sam?
sham.
No, I have no idea.
There's a blue sham in Lowell. It is something
It's
else,
in Boston.
man.
Purple Shamrock is in Boston, Mass. I've never been there, but it looks
I don't
like
think
it's
I
still
have.
open. So there you go.
Good point from Jack in here in the chat, though. We played down to the opponents last year. Hope they fixed that. That has been a
Seems like it.
tradition for almost as long as I have been a diehard fan watching every game. It is a classic Celtics move to play down to the competition. Definitely something to keep your eyes on tonight. Under the Brad Stevens regime, it was always an issue. Last year, early in the season, it was a problem. But when they turned the corner in the second half, they were killing everybody. It didn't matter. Top of the conference, bottom of the conference, trying to tank. Celtics ran through just about everybody, except for the Spurs. They dropped 2 to the Spurs last year, got swept.
Pistons.
Tough. Pistons
Pistons were brutal.
Pistons were pain in the ass for everybody, though. By the way, Pistons pick yesterday. No good. Sorry.
No good. You
Jack
cannot
said
win
on
your Pistons
purpose.
pick.
So I had to address it.
My Pelicans pick hit though, so
Yes, it did.
I want to know. You know, let me see. Let me check the board tonight. I don't know any odds, but if I had to pick a game that could potentially be a dog that I think could win, let me see here. I like the Raptors over the Heat. I don't know
I like
who's
that
favored,
too.
but I'd go Raps. They're usually underdogs and they're usually scrappy.
Kings
I like
might be
to
one to
stay in
keep
there.
an eye on. No Kawhi today.
Keegan Murray's coming back too for them. They're rookie too, so
Yep.
some heat behind him. Outside of that, I'm not
Tatum.
sure.
Tatum does not use his left hand when he's around the basket.
No.
Have you guys noticed how much of an effort he makes to avoid using it?
Yeah, but hey, I mean, if he can get to the right, then it's not a problem. And he's using the floater really well. He's getting to
The
the floater
floater's
a lot.
fine. I just mean when he's going to the left side of the cup, it's like he looks awkward. He looks like he's begging to get blocked at times, or he's trying to do like a trick shot.
What
He needs good.
What wrist did he hurt? I'm trying to remember. Was it his left?
Maybe. That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
It might have been his left. I can't.
I think it
remember
might have
off
been
the
his
top of my
shooting
dome.
hand.
You might be right. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head.
Regardless, I would really like to see him improve that. If not this throughout the season, next year he needs to come back and be able to use his left at the cup, because just there's a reason why everyone does it. It's not to show off.
It was his left.
His left, okay. Well, that
Yeah.
might make sense then.
Yeah, that
And
probably
it could
would factor
explain
into
his
it.
struggles around the rim.
Wait,
at
what
times.
happened to his left? Is it his
That was
injury?
the when he had the hairline fracture or whatever.
Gotcha.
Or I think
yeah.
it wasn't a hairline. It was something else. Some kind of fracture.
The one he
whatever.
It
was
was
playing
enough to
through-
piss you off.
Yeah.
He
Last
chipped,
class, okay.
chipped one of his bones.
Ow.
Yep. I think that's all I got. I'm excited to watch Paolo Banchero play. He looked good in their season opener against the Pistons. I didn't catch his other game after that. But he's fun. He's quick. He plays, in my opinion, like a bulkier big man version of Tatum. I think that's from the brief minutes I saw from what I tried to watch in the first Piston games. The way he carries himself, I think, is a little bit like that. But yeah, Banchero's fun. Keith tweeted out their starting lineup. Let me check that real quick so I can tell you guys.
This
who's
is
starting
like the
for
Keith
Orlando.
Smith game right here. Orlando, Boston. He's all over it.
True.
Those are his two teams that
They
he's
type in the
covering.
Magic 5 for you. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. This is the Magic's 5 for you. Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter. They got a nice young 5. I mean,
Cole
nice
Anthony
young
lit them
4
up
in
last
Ross.
year.
What'd you say?
Cole Anthony lit the Celtics up last year almost for
He
30.
did. Magic are going to be good in a couple years, just like the Pistons. They're the young core is coming.
Pistons are good now. I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't.
Not yesterday.
Last night, not yesterday. Jalen Brunson's look good for the Knicks though in their defense. They've got something with Brunson. Anyways, anything you guys want to say before we get out of here?
Oh man, let's extend it to 3-0. They joked with Tatum last night that it was the first win streak of Missoula's career. Tatum said 2 games is not a win streak. Is 3? Oh, we'll
Do you
see.
know what I
Hopefully they get
saw?
to ask him.
I saw the stat. This is the first time Joe Mazzulla is the first head coach, or whatever, to lead
First
a Celtics
Celtics head
team.
coach.
Yeah, to go 2-0 to start the season since 2009-10.
Yeah, I
It's been
can't believe
that
that.
long since they
Since
started
Doc.
2-0.
That is weird. That was
crazy.
a weird stat. As soon as I saw that, I was like, no way, really?
Very
Like, that sounds so
weird.
odd to hear. But
In that 17-18 season, they started 0-2 and then ripped off 16 in a row. Or maybe it was 18.
Yep.
I don't know. It was a lot.
Something crazy. I remember that.
16.
That was a lot of fun.
That
Anyways,
was fun.
Who needs a girlfriend when your team's winning double digits in a row? Seriously.
Oh,
Is there
man.
something you want to talk about?
No. I just remember I had that thought at that time. I was going to tweet that. That's what made me think of it.
All right, let's get out of here. Get ready for the game. Thank you guys for tuning in. When is the next vitamin C's, Tim? That's a you question.
We've got something in the works. I won't talk about it now, but I'll let you know. It's coming soon. It'll be a little bit, but we're just working on something right now.
How about them
There you go.
Celtics being recorded
Yeah,
tomorrow?
plug
your
the
eyes
show.
out.
How about them Celtics will be out on Monday?
Stepping right on Tim.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Check us all out on Twitter. That's Below Our Faces. Check out the How About Them Celtics podcast, like Sam just plugged. Those are out, trying to go bi-weekly now, at least every week. You'll get at least one a week, probably 2 during the season. Depends on our schedule. Check it out on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. How about them C's? And yeah, this has been the Bannertown Buildup. We just posted a new TikTok, Instagram reel, and tweet now. If you want to go check over that and like it, it's about Marcus Smart and me getting mad at the national media. So that's there for you. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the Bannertown Buildup. We're here 30 minutes before every Celtics game, and we'll see you guys before the next one. Peace out.